Hi, everybody. Welcome to the next installment in our tech series. Suze, how are you today?
I'm all right for Monday morning. This is when we're recording this, first thing on a Monday morning. I think I'm a really good topic to talk about today. And, the whole thing, the whole series about the missing ingredient, about how you can use tech and information systems, and sensible use of AI, etc., to support business growth and development is really, really interesting. And what is the question we're answering today?
Is tech by itself the solution to all my problems? To which the really speedy answer is no.
No, no. And quite often we see, don't we, when we go into businesses, that people have invested really rather heavily in developing bespoke systems, or bought in licenses for a variety of different information systems, thinking that they are, in and of themselves, a way to solve the problem. But without the strategic intent and the strategic understanding of what you need, why, and when to ensure everything is seamless, then you might as well be investing in a new vacuum cleaner, quite
A
frankly.
vacuum cleaner can be very important in a business.
Absolutely, but
I'm
if you
just
don't have
saying,
someone, but if you don't have someone to operate the vacuum cleaner, it just sits there gathering dust.
depends whether or not it's a robotized one.
Oh, yeah, no, no. Now you're going down. Now you're too far into the future on that one.
Okay, so training providers, employability providers aren't actually all that different from any other service business.
Yeah,
In that, within service businesses, fundamentally, you're managing two things. One are your people, you're completely stuffed without them. And the second is your data, and you're completely stuffed without that.
yeah,
And you use the people to create great data
yeah.
and to analyze and interpret the data and to make great decisions from that data. And you use the data to manage the people. And unless you can get the two things working as they need to, then you are never going to get all the value.
And also for a lot of leaders out there, you're never going to get the full picture about what's going on in your business. And if you've
And
got, sorry, Karen.
I was just going to say, a lot of leaders don't have great data skills.
No, and if you employ the right people to pull the right data in the right way and report it in the right structure, that doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily harmful to the business, but not understanding, not having any strategic understanding of what data, good data looks like in terms of meeting contract and managing the business well, and not allowing staff to hide things. And I think that's the interesting bit, right? A lot of the time, people with not bad intent, but don't want that scolding or don't want that KPI, or are a bit worried about being caught out not having done things in a timely way, fudge stuff. Give part of the picture, not the full picture, because the information systems are not recording in the right way, or they might be recording everything, but the data's not being pulled in a transparent way or talking to all of the other systems it needs to talk to in a transparent way. And
But
that
that,
completely is down.
yeah, I mean, fundamentally, the people running the business need to understand for these reports that I'm looking at, where has this data come from?
Yeah.
And really down to quite basic details. How has this report been put together? What information is it pulling from where, from what systems? Actually, how does all of this work? And a lot of executives don't have that skill set,
Yeah.
which is why we talk about the missing ingredient. And the missing
Absolutely.
ingredient is that skill set, um, to actually go off and understand this is how the business works, and this is how the business interacts with the data systems. Because the data systems show what's going on, but if you've got a system where there are 37 workarounds because staff use their initiative for the best of reasons,
Yeah.
but actually we're working around and we're working around and we're working around. And often the workarounds are there, yes, because the tech annoys people, but often the reason why it's annoying me is because they haven't been sufficiently trained in how to use it.
Absolutely.
Or actually, the tech hasn't been optimized to operate with how I actually do my job.
Or, as well, the tech hasn't been invested in so long. The operating system has been around since God was a boy, and on dial-up from back in the day. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but there is very much, just a little bit, but there is very much where there are times when people think a plaster, a bit of sticky tape, and a boot up the backside of the system is enough to keep something old running in what is now a very different landscape when data is king. And often leaders don't have the confidence because a lot of leaders are coming from an entrepreneurial spirit. They're not necessarily coming from a technical
No, it
business.
scares them.
So it's scared. They don't have, I was going to say they don't have the confidence.
But it's the same thing. If I don't have confidence, then it
yeah,
scares me.
no, I know. Yeah. But that's what I'm agreeing with you. I was going to say they don't have the confidence to be able to make the right decisions in the right way for their business because they don't know what those decisions are. So when you have people coming up and telling you, "Oh, we'll do this, do this, do this," then they're going to put their trust into people that they're hiring, irrespective of what their skill set looks like, or not the skill set, because you can have some great tech guys, but great tech guys don't get the function of each and every bit of your business and what those different functions need to do to be able to talk to each other well, because that's not their job. So they can go out.
Hiring people who, lots of people will have BI people specifically there to be running data and reports. These people don't necessarily have that background in having done the job. So they don't understand what it is that they're necessarily looking at.
No,
there isn't that interpretation of that. It looks dodgy.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense to me. Do you remember all the time? But that doesn't make sense to me when you look at your data reports. That doesn't make sense. So yeah, and there's that gap at the moment between maybe you've got great IT people, and IT people are fabulous, best people in the business, but they're not sufficiently senior or sufficiently grounded in training and skills and employability, whereby they've got the ability to be able to see what does really good data reporting look like across multiple functions and operations.
But also, what does it mean when this is like this? And you can't over appreciate the importance. You can have these numbers and you see it across all kinds of businesses, not just in apprenticeships or employability, but people are increasingly using finance systems within their business. That bookkeeping function is very digital now, but you get your P&L or your balance sheet spat out and you're looking at it going, and people don't necessarily drill down and actually have a look and go, well, the reason, they're taking it at face value, as opposed to, oh, we've got a whole bunch of stuff in the wrong place, which is incredibly common. Yeah. Pretty much everybody's got something in their books that's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Absolutely everybody, because but unless you fix that stuff and make a decision to fix that stuff, that then impacts all of your financial decision making around, our profit margin is X. No, it isn't. It's actually what?
And also
all these things.
But also for me, on an operational level, then looking at even drilling down into even the profitability of an individual course of standard against what you're looking for in your P&L, and how you're measuring that from finance, from getting paid by whatever commissioner that you've got, to looking at that monthly to see if that is a profitable course for you, is linking in between operations and finance, right? And how you talk to each other in a really effective way.
But it requires both systems to be giving you accurate answers.
Absolutely.
The other thing that we see a lot is a lot of the e-portfolio systems, pretty much everybody has gone digital in terms of e-portfolio to one degree or another. But a lot of these systems are still very qualification based and
Yeah.
particularly in the apprenticeship landscape, now that we're on standards, and you have a lot of standards that don't have qualifications as their basis, you've got e-portfolio systems that are still being used in quite a traditional
Yeah.
way that really aren't fit for purpose. But again, there's that reluctance by leaders, especially if the leaders of the business aren't really grounded in assessment, verification, all of those technical and boring things that get involved in running a provider. Lots of people at senior level don't have that background of getting down and dirty in that stuff.
Yeah.
So wouldn't necessarily appreciate that you've got a system that's no longer fit for purpose. We haven't looked at the setup of it in a while, because why would you?
Yeah. Well,
Um, and
generally
again,
speaking,
it's not
startups. Yeah.
spitting out the information that you need. So to come back to our question, is tech the solution to all of our problems? No, it isn't, but it can be, provided you've got that skill set within the business to set it up properly so that it meets the needs of the business, which
Yeah.
means understanding the needs of the business. That then helps you choose the right tech and helps you push through and get that tech set up properly, and helps you to then be able to performance manage people against that.
Absolutely.
Staff love using their initiative, and in some things that's absolutely amazing. But within a lot of providers, there's great swathes where sadly staff are not allowed to use their initiative because the contract says, no, we have to do it that way. Ofsted said, we have to do it that way. The awarding body says, you've got to do it that way. So the key is in identifying those areas where you want staff to use their initiative. A lot of that's around how they work with individual learners, but you've got to have that attention to detail to make sure that they are working in a systematic manner so that you get the data that you need. And once you've got the data that you need, please use it.
So, on that note, while Julia's shouting at you, if you want to further chat about this, well, I mean, data is at the heart of everything that we do alongside the learner and customer. If you fancy a chat about how we can maybe help you look at and challenge some of the ways you use data at the moment to get the best out of it, make sure you contact us. The links to our calendars are in the post, and we'd love to hear from you for an initial chat.
Thank you very much.